We're live. Hello,
Yay.
everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to our panel. What number are we making?
Oh, goodness. I think for number 8.
Eight. We're
Yeah.
number eight to social wellness panel number eight. And this panel is going to be about feminine energy that is changing the world. And it is so appropriate because yesterday was International Women's Day. And it was March 8th, and our panel is 8. We believe in numerology. We like this. So I'm very, 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 very happy that we're here together and introduce you to these amazing women who bring their love, their wisdom, their power to the table right here, right now, but also in their communities when they're changing lives of many people just by being who they are and sharing their gifts. So I am honored to introduce Raw. And her full name is Rosemary, but we all call her Raw. She's a managing director of eWomen's Network New Jersey chapter. And she has been advocating for women and for creating unlimited possibility for women's power. She's been in leadership for over 40 years. If I had to list everything that Raw is, it would take probably the whole program. But I'm just so happy, Raw, that you're joining us, and welcome.
I am thrilled to be here. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, make it to you.
And then I have the honor to welcome Dee DiFatta this evening. Hi, Dee. And Dee is a perspective and a positivity coach, and she is a founder of A Dose of Positivity. After 49 years of life and 27 years of living with multiple sclerosis and 17 years working full-time in the insurance industry, Dee's become a catalyst for healthy living and positive change. And I cannot wait for her to share some of that with all of you, our conscious life community this evening. Back to you, Julia.
And I can't wait to play with, to have the same playground with you, Dee, because it's my first experience with you too. So it's great. Welcome. And I have an honor to introduce Beata. Beata is a change and transition coach. So she works in a space and empowers people, and not only people, businesses as well, and helps them to navigate through life's many changes. For instance, divorce or loss or struggle, by teaching them about the power of their own thinking and guiding them to adjust their mindset for better outcomes. She often focuses their thinking on their strength and their ability to meet challenges and to become successful in whatever they're working on. Beata became US citizens only recently, and originally she is from Poland and she lives in Colorado. And by the way, we represent a few states here. We have New Jersey, New York, we have Colorado, we have Massachusetts, and we have Connecticut. So, yay. I also want to introduce Nikki Provencher, who is my co-founder of Conscious Life Collective, my friend. And we often, when we talk about us, we often say we love us. And yes, and my name is Julia Bernowski. I'm the founder of Untamed Heart. I work with energy, and I'm not going to say much about it, but I am also a co-founder with Mikki of Conscious Life Collective. And with that, let's begin. Mikki?
Yes. So I am, our title this evening, right, is how feminine energy is changing the world. And so our first question is, ladies, how do you think feminine energy today is changing the world. And, I think I'll start with Beata. How do you think feminine energy is changing the world, very briefly?
What a great question. Feminine energy to me is power that women started recently owning. So it's not about the power that we use to harm someone, but to actually embrace. And I believe that we women recently, we are stepping into the power to embrace the change, the positive change that Dee can talk about, the positive change a lot in the world. No, and how does it start? It starts from us, from within. And oh my goodness, whoever is listening right now, change always starts from within. So women are more and more aware. They go inside and they spread the awareness, the love, the light on the outside. And I believe it's like, okay, I thought that I'm still there. And it's the create ripple effect. So we spread this positive, powerful energy onto our families, communities, and eventually to the world.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. I feel like just mic drop right there.
Thank you.
And so to build on that, why don't you, Dee, share with us, how do you think positive energy today is changing the world? Women's feminine energy is changing the world.
Beata, I love what you just said, because it is within us, but we don't realize that. And a lot of times we have to redefine power so that it doesn't have that negative connotation. It's not having power over others, it's having power within us. And once you realize that you've got this powerful, indomitable spirit within you, and that you're not stuck in the past or stuck in your circumstances or stuck in anybody's definition of you or a box or any of that, you empower yourself and other people around you, your world changes. It's amazing. I love the magic that happens when you embrace your personal power.
Personal power. Isn't that a great
Yes.
Yes. And Roe, how do you feel the feminine energy today is changing the world?
I love what everyone has said so far. And when I hear this question, I think of how we are bringing authenticity, how we are bringing love, how we are bringing empathy, how we are bringing compassion to the leadership world, to the business world, to negotiation world, to everything. And it's exactly like Dee said, it's not power over, that's old school, it's power with. And it's about sharing and discovering, and it's about unity, and it's about lifting others as we lift ourselves. And that's the feminine energy that we're bringing to the table, and that's how we're changing the world, because this world needs more love and more compassion and more empathy than you can imagine. Right?
Right. Power with, not power over. Wow. The power word is coming out. And I said that in the very beginning. I don't know, maybe I set the tone for that, but really that was, I said strength, and maybe that rolled into the power as we were coming through our conversation.
Yes. And I just want to say that what I was getting, like, I enjoyed so much what you were sharing with us, but what I was getting was that feminine energy is bringing a leadership, even though I'm not supposed to speak on this panel, but I have to say that it's about the leadership. And it's a different type of leadership that comes from very different place. And as we entering the age of intuitive, instead of information age that we're exiting right now, we're just entering the age of intuition, and women are the channels for it. The best decisions are made that are aligned with your heart, that leadership that comes and guided by intuition, by your heart. by doing good for everyone. So
Absolutely.
which one of you represent that today?
Mm.
So thank you. So talking about feminine and masculine energy, right? So each one of us, we all know that we all have feminine energy, we have masculine energy. Now, just to be clear, what is feminine energy? What is masculine energy, right? So feminine energy is the one that receives and makes something with it. Masculine energy that delivers. It delivers energy, it gives. So feminine energy, for example, from the sperm that woman receives, which is a feminine energy, sperm is the sperm is a masculine energy. We cook the baby, we receive and we make something with it, and the result is a new baby. When man brings energy home, money or whatever, buy something, woman receives it and makes something with it. Now, when I say women, I have to be careful because it's a feminine energy. It could be man or woman. It's that energy. So just to be clear, what is feminine, what is masculine? For example, when you are a teacher and you are giving a lesson, what kind of energy are you? It's a masculine energy. And when you are a student, doesn't matter what sex, you're man or a woman, you are in your feminine energy, you're receiving, right? Just to create that definition. So here's my question to you, ladies. Since we have both feminine and masculine energy, how do we create balance? How do we, when we are so often in our masculine energy, still have our femininity? How do we have that balance? How do you do that? Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Go.
Go ahead, Dee.
Dee, go.
So feminine energy is all about receiving, but how many females do you know of that are open to receiving? That's the balance that I find with masculine and feminine. Even though we're supposed to be receivers, we are not completely open to receiving. A lot of times we're like, no, it's okay. No, I got it. No, I'm good. No, whatever. So that's where the balance comes in. It wasn't until I opened my heart and soul and spirit and became proud of my authenticity that I was able to open up and say, okay, I'm worthy of receiving. I'm deserving of receiving. I'm open to receiving. So I think that's where the balance is.
Pretty awesome. So we need to learn how to be in our feminine energy. Is that what you're saying, Dee?
I can take over on that.
Yeah, we need to embrace
Yes.
our feminine energy. I think we really do know how, if you really just listened and tapped into it. So we just need to embrace it and love it as much as we love the masculine energy in all areas. So I have this saying that I say, because I look at feminine energy as the creators, we're the birthers, and the masculine energy as the structure behind it, the container, right? So I would be, when it comes to business, I'd be like, I create in the feminine. I create in my feminine energy. I bring all that to the table. Then when it's time to execute my plan, I execute it in my masculine. I call in my masculine energy to do the execution and the structure and how does it going to look. But then, and it's not really executed, it's the planning piece. My execution is in the flow because I execute in both the balance of the masculine and the feminine. So that's how I kind of just judge, just sometimes as to when to tap into my feminine side, when to tap in the masculine, and when to really be in the balance. Because that is balance to me in life. There is no work-life balance. Balance is balancing your feminine and your masculine. That is balance. And women need to embrace their feminine energy more, and men need to embrace their feminine energy more. That's been the problem. We inherited this masculine success culture, And unfortunately, we inherited it, and we didn't have great role models to follow, but nowadays we do. We have beautiful women and women here tonight and women all over that are showing how to be powerful, how to be firm but compassionate at the same time, and really tap into that beautiful power of both the feminine and the masculine. I love what, like with Sandra Yancey, the CEO of eWomen Network, and she has a chandelier in her office, and when she's on these mastermind with these like big men, like household names that you would know, she purposely makes sure she changes moves her chair so that you could see her chandelier in her office coming from, and like little things like that. But it's just like, and I remember when there's another famous male billionaire that's been in her office, and she said he felt actually squeamish. He was in her office because it was leopard and green, and it was such like you knew you were in a woman CEO office, and she didn't pretend to be this masculine man because I'm CEO. So that's, to me, is how do you start to figure out the balancing of feminine and masculine?
So, Ro, but how, like when women, some of the women in family, they have role of both men, female, and the male. Sometimes if it's a single mother who's being mother and a father, or breadwinner in the family. So she brings in money, so she's in her masculine energy. How do you balance it? Like, it's a huge question. What's your take on that?
So my take on that is love it. Love the energy of money. What money brings to us and what it does for us, and how I could serve better, with the money. So I don't I don't know, because I'm not against money and I never have been. I made a lot of money when I was a young woman, and I didn't have a resistance against money. So maybe I'm not the right person to ask for money, because I've always been very comfortable with money.
No, like, yeah, totally, very comfortable with money. But how, when you are the breadwinner, how do you stay feminine? How do you stay feminine, like connected to your feminine energy at the times when you are mom and the dad at the same time? And when you're single mom, when you like, I got it, I do it all.
Yeah, it's self-care. It's really a balance of self-care and self-love. And self-care is getting your needs met, knowing how to ask and getting your needs met. And it's about loving yourself. It's kind of like I love when you said that you are grateful for each other, like you love each other, like we are, how did you say it? How do you call yourselves? We are love.
No, we often say, Mikki and me, when we work so well together, when we say, we love us.
We love us.
We love us.
Yeah. And but if you could go to sleep every night, and I heard Diane von Furstenberg today say that one of the things she does in her morning and her evening is like, I am grateful for me. I am grateful for me, and just accepting all of me, and just accepting and knowing that you could show up in the feminine when you want, and show up in the masculine, and both are fine. It's like it's a unity. It's like it's not really even separating the two. So how do you tap into, like, so money is masculine, but serving and contributing and changing the world, that is feminine, right? Traditionally, that's feminine, but you need money to do that. So it's really tap into that place of service.
I love that. So, but I'm still finding myself sometimes being, oh, I can do this by myself. At the time, I love how you said, I think you said it, when you need to ask also. You need to ask somebody else to assist you, even if you can do it.
And I don't want to take up, I'm sure I want to hear from the other women, but when I hear that, what comes up to me is shame. It's just that our culture has taught us that it's a weakness, or it's a shame that we can't do it ourselves, that we're supposed to be able to do everything ourselves, because that's what how they raised women, is just to take care of the world, to take care of everyone, so that we should be able to take care of ourselves as well. And so we feel guilty or we feel shameful by doing that. And once you remove the shame, or you could remove that guilt, then you'll be doing it graciously. So that to me is not a masculine feminine. That's just a an outcome of being raised as a woman,
Mm,
and the shame that comes with that.
mm. I love that. Yes, 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 and yes. Beata,
Are we still on the same
I can't
topic?
wait to hear. I can't wait to hear what you're
Yeah,
going to
you probably see that I'm like, I have to
I
say
know you're ready. I know you're ready.
because, I think, first of all, we have to break the myth of who is bringing money to home. It doesn't matter who brings the money. Then what's matter how we live with it, how we cooperate, how we talk about that. If the partner is shaming you because you are home staying, taking care of house, and I'm the king because I'm bringing the money, or I'm the queen because I'm bringing the money, then you need to have a serious conversation, because there's not about feminine or masculine energy. There is a crack in this relationship. So this is, first of all, just, I think right now women are able to take care of themselves and their families so beautifully, that the other myth that we have to just let go of is like, we can take care of ourselves. We don't need any man or partner to take care of us, but we have to learn who we are and what are our powers and use it as a females. So I don't remember the original question, but I can relate to you, Julia, because you said that sometimes you feel kind of, what was exact the word that you kind of shame who is bringing them? I don't remember, but this is so related
breadwinner, right?
Yes, so
what you're looking.
Yeah, you said, I feel so connected, and I think it's about the culture. And Rose, you said kind of it depends how we were raised. And come on, me and you, we had to fight for being seen. We were born in communism and this invisible walls and what is really possible for us. We had to fight for it. I'm short, so I had to fight even twice, because like, I'm here, I matter. So it's I think the culture and our experience, it's also what shapes our beliefs. And then I was born and raised by very strong woman, my mother, and I learned from her that if I want to achieve anything in this world, I have to be strong. And if I can count on anyone in this world, it's me first. But then I found out, like you said, asking for help. Okay, this part. It was hard because I was so in the masculine energy and it's like, I can do it all. But then there's the time when you say, okay, calm down, look at yourself. So finding awareness and clarity. You don't have to be alone in this. You can ask for help. And I don't know if I have time to share, but I remember in the beginning of my relationship with my husband, I'm Polish, strong, this outgoing, and he's American, very kind. And at the beginning, I don't know, even changing the light bulb, it was hard for me. It's like, I will do it. I don't need your help. So this was this negative masculine energy. And he's like, okay. And then I was like, why he's not helping? You just said no, yes? So I think we are mixing this beliefs and energies as a masculine and feminine in us. And you were, ladies, beautifully saying about the balance. It's hard sometimes to find the balance. Then we have to go to the core, who we are and what we need, and just ask.
It's quite funny, Beata, because Dee and I have had that same conversation
Really?
that you just described previously.
Yeah, I had to learn to ask for help and just, even like silly stuff. I can do it. You don't have to, but if you want, yeah.
Right. And I think that might be what Dee was describing before of like, okay, you can help me.
Right.
Yeah, I'll let you help me.
Yes, I love what you said.
I'm worthy of help.
Actually, I led myself to help myself.
By asking for help. But,
right.
Right. Yeah.
I love that because it's so deeply rooted and embedded in how we grew up, some of us. And it just reminded me my thought. I clearly remember a thought. And I think that I even pronounced it. That I said, if men can do it, I can do it. And it's just like, it's not, what's the word? It's not like I want them to compete with me. It's not that, but it's just a connection to my very masculine energy that was so strong. It's not a question if I can do it, but if I'm in my feminine, I want to enjoy someone else, men, women, like depending where you are in your relationship, doing it for me, receiving. And there's such a pleasure. And I just invite us girls to reconnect with that pleasure, to reconnect with that moment of just being taken care of. And I think that true leadership is allowing others, is delegating. What energy is it? Roy, what do you think that is? Delegating, for example.
Did you ask me?
Yeah.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just like, Rob, what do you think when we're delegating? Is it which energy are we in?
Oh,
Kind of empowering
delegating.
others. I'm thinking about leadership.
It is leadership, and it's masculine, but that's one of those that actually could be a little bit of both. Because really, at the bottom end of the day, who has decided what is feminine and what is masculine anyway? I mean, really, where did these definitions come from? It really all came from a culture of experience of what was happening, and men were out there, hunting, and women were gathering, and that's kind of where it all started, right? But it's really none of it is all even true, because it's like bending reality. So delegating is, I guess, technically masculine, but it could be so feminine. When you're in your powerful feminine, when you're in your authenticity, when you're in your authentic ambition, then delegating can be easy, because that's when you create boundaries. But when you're in when you created this glass ceiling for yourself, and that you created this inner barrier for yourself that's holding you back, then you could be in a form of feminine energy that's not healthy. So it's, sometimes I look at it as functional feminine energy and dysfunctional feminine energy. It's not feminine or masculine. It's really just, I'm just not I'm not the best me right now. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
So when you are a leader and feminine energy, leadership through feminine energy, allowing other people to contribute, allow other people to shine, to create space for other people to shine, to understand other people. I think
that allows other people to be powerful.
Allow other people. I think this is what we are as women are bringing to the table also.
Absolutely.
And that's the embracing and employing that feminine touch, that mother at the table. Everybody knows she's the leader.
but you have people doing what they need to do because they want to, because they're inspired to, versus doing it out of fear.
That's right.
And that's the difference. And therefore you have more effectiveness, more productivity, more happiness, more fulfillment. And that's what we're bringing to the table. And when we're in our dysfunctional, we wind up working so hard, we wind up activating the masculine too much. We wake up one day totally like unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Because we chase for all these outside reasons. And now, oh, I made $250,000. I'm like, why am I not happy? Right? So
if I can add here, because you said it, Roe, very beautifully. I think this new leadership, the feminine leadership, is about purpose-driven instead of outcome-driven. And I'm not saying that outcome is not important, especially for the company. It is. But if we focus as a culture in the company business on the purpose, and we introduce it to the employees and people who are even a family as a company. Yeah? If you introduce this, I think still inward, we are the feminine, the inward purpose. It's just gonna be well understood, and it's gonna bring motivation. I always say motivation over manipulation. The old structure is using manipulation. You said fear focused motivation, and now women, they bring this beautiful vision and purpose, power, and embrace that it's business. Yeah, because I mean, we are leaders also in the families, but if talking about business, it's just changing the energy in the company. The purpose.
Yeah, it's so true. It's all we really want in life is to be seen, to be heard, to be respected, to be loved, men and women. And that's what women bring to the table. We're finally listening. We're the listeners. We're not, the men were always the doers. We're the listeners. And because we're listening, we have people like wanting to do more because they're being seen and they're being heard and they're being loved. So that's why I said in the beginning, what are we bringing to the table for leadership? Is we're bringing love and empathy.
And understanding. A lot of understanding. And instead of being competitive, we're looking at collaboration. We're looking at everyone's gifts and talents and allowing them to bring them to the table so that we could be stronger together instead of all fighting for the same thing. Yeah.
This is actually perfect, because you just led us into our next question, which I passing it on to Mikki. Thank you, Dee. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. That was perfect. And so our next question, or actually just sort of a lead for you all to share, is what is your gift that you're sharing, and how are you sharing it with the world? And here's where I invite you to share a personal story or a project that you're working on, or I'm going to wink, Dee, this is where you can share about your most recent release that you're sharing with the world. And so I'll open it up to Dee first, since you're the one that led us right into this question.
Oh, thank you.
Wink.
I'm not shy about this at all. This is my new project, Your Daily Dose of Positivity. This is my book that I have created and birthed into the world. Yes, and it is 365 days of magnificent insight and inspiration. And every day has a different quote. And today's quote for March 9th is, "You may have big plans for yourself, but sometimes the universe has even bigger plans for you. Don't allow yourself to feel rejected or dejected if your plans don't work out. Just keep thinking that something better is just around the corner." Oh. Drop the mic.
Yeah, drop the mic is right. Because whose plans didn't go like they thought they were going to today?
Wow. But you know what? I have to tell you, I started writing that book March of 2019, and it wasn't ready to be birthed yet. I wasn't ready. The universe wasn't ready. I closed the book on the book, and I didn't open it up again until October of 2020. So that quote is so perfect for me today, because that's exactly what happened in my life. I lived it.
Very good. Very good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Anyone else have anything?
So how do you, hold on, Dee, hold on. She's been very quiet. Dee, so how, like, what is your gift?
Positivity. And it's not about rainbows and unicorns. Positivity to me is an attitude. It's a state of being. It's a perspective. It is seeing your authenticity, your vulnerability, your beautiful spirit within you. When I look at someone, when I speak to them about positivity, it's a different perspective. It actually sees through the facades, through the BS, through the stories, through the limiting beliefs, through the self-doubts, through the fears, through the worries, into the beautiful spirit that they are. Because it exists within all of us. And I enjoy being that reflection for others so that they can find their own worthiness, deservedness, personal strength, indomitable spirit. It exists within all of us. I just like to be a mirror. I like to be a reflection of that for others.
It is so beautiful. And this is just like when I look at you and I'm listening to you, I'm almost like, this is a perfect example of someone who is so powerful, but so in her feminine energy. It's like the moon has no light of its own, but reflecting the sun, which is feminine. Moon is a she. And without her, there's no life. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else like to share a personal story or a project or something that they have going on? A special gift that they share with the world?
Beata, come on.
She looks frozen.
Oh, I think she's frozen. Oh, Beata is frozen. Okay, so there's something with the connection probably. But Beata froze in the perfect position, like she's
I
perfect.
know. Beautiful.
Usually we freeze like in something funny. But
Like somebody paint that picture right now.
Perfect. I'm gonna take a picture.
She lost the connection altogether.
Come back
She just
in.
lost the connection. Yes, so she'll come back.
Yeah, you'll have to let her in this time, though.
Yeah. So then, Roy, it's all into you.
Ro, you're up.
It's all to you.
I'm up. So I have so many projects. I have so many things to share.
What is your gift?
My gift? My gift is women, mostly women, but people in general. I've been doing this my whole life. Is activating your possibilities and seeing potentials and possibilities and opening up yourself to unlimited possibilities. And my superpower is doing that without judgment. I see the truth in everybody. I see the beauty in everybody. I see the greatness in everyone. And that's the gift that I bring. And what would make me happy is women seeing that truth. So when women wake up to themselves and they get that self-discovery, I'm like a kid in a candy store. It's like, talk about positivity, right? And I've always I used to wear a button on attitude. I used to wear an attitude button because it is all about your perception. It starts with perception and starts with identifying who you are. There she is. And it starts with that perception. So I just love helping women create that honest assessment of themselves from this place of love, from this place of like, kind of like what Diane was saying today, that I'm grateful for me. I love me. I love who I am. And I usually always say, I love the good and the bad and the ugly. And it's like, I love the imperfections. I love the quirkiness. I love the weirdness. I love the strangeness. So sometimes I'm like, I always go for the underdog. So that's one of my superpowers. And I think, why I even started with women. When I worked on Wall Street, I worked in a man's environment and did very well. People said, well, why don't you work with men and why don't you work in corporate? I'm like, because my heart goes out to the solopreneur. And a lot of the corporate women, they're getting help with executive coaches that the company brings in. But a lot of the women that are on their own because they are alone, they're not getting this. So that's where my heart goes out. And I have two projects. One project is that I really want to help women leaders, women who empower other women to tap into their feminine, because I see masculine women coaching women to be masculine power. And I'm like, no, we got to stop that. I'm like, I love that you're going to be in empowerment, but we need to empower from this place of everything we're talking about here this evening. And my other big project is dismantling this masculine success system. It's a small little project. Um, but I want to do a summit, putting together a summit and gathering together women and men to have this conscious conversation about this unity power, about men understanding the power that women bring to the table, and then also understanding how they tapping into that power, and us using all our gifts and our talents, bringing our strengths to the table and working together side by side, how that is going to make the world a much better place. So that is my destiny project right now. So that's where I'm like starting to bring men into the equation. And I have some beautiful men that want to speak, that men are starting to wake up to this, and it's a beautiful thing. So it's like women's empowerment 2.0. That's why I look at it. It's like the next evolution of women empowerment. Now that we're rising up, and now that we're into that power, what's our next step? And our next step now is not just getting, because this is what I hear out there, of that men need to support us. No, we need to be in unison with them. They need to be on board with this, not just support us like a husband supports his wife. Like, oh, I'll support you, honey, and do whatever you want. No, we need to be like, wow, we need to bring this more in together. When we work together, it's powerful. So that's what I'm working on.
So beautiful. So beautiful. I want to be there.
Yeah,
I'm going to be there. I'm coming.
totally.
So beautiful. Thank you, Ron.
Oh, you're going to speak at it. You just don't know it yet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Beata.
Remind me a question, because I was dealing with lack of connection, so I lost you for a second. It was about project or story.
Oh, Mikki, you want to?
Yes. So we are sharing what it is, that you, a project or something that you are sharing with the community. What is your gift that you share with the world?
Okay. So I have to go actually into my story a little bit, because I coach, but I like more like mentor. Yeah, I'm mentor women and men, and it's about change and transition. But the main thing is about independent thinking for all of us. In age of 7, I was in a car accident. And I had a traumatic brain injury, woke up in a hospital after I don't know how many days, to the conversation between the doctors and my mom. And they were saying, Mom, you have to be realistic. Your kid will never be normal. She will never achieve much, and she will never be like her peers, friends. You need to be easy on her. probably she will be kind of like veggie. So it was shocking even for a 7-year-old to hear stuff like that. I did not realize what is, but it was fearful. So since then, I remember my mother, thank God for my mother, she was teaching me that if I want to be what I want in my life and want to achieve anything, I want to think for myself besides of the noise outside of me, the doctors, the teachers, and all of that. And it's what I want today to share with other women, other men, whoever feels like they are not enough, that the world is overwhelming them, that if they think for themselves, they're gonna find the power within them, they're gonna get to know themselves enough, and they will find their own gifts. I found my gift through struggles, and mostly others, they found their own gifts through struggles. And without your own thinking, you won't get there, because the noise, the beliefs that Dee was talking about the stories that we are imposed, that are imposed on us, they might crush us. And it's not why we are born. We were born to follow our dream. The dream is a gift. And I want to just end my gift with this favorite quote of Coco Chanel that reminds me of my mother. A girl should be two things: who and what she wants. But to find out who you are and what you want, you have to think for yourself and find it.
I love that. Thank you, Beata. And do you want to just really quickly maybe share with us any of your project or anything that...
Oh, my project. Yeah, my project is to bring awareness, yes, to not just one-on-one. Now, and you know that, Julia, I'm getting on more stages and I want to reach masses. It's my project for next, whoever, I don't know, however it's gonna end. I don't know what is my expiration date on the air, but till the last day, I want to get on more and more stages and spread this message of independent thinking, and that change is actually a good thing for us. And you are responsible for how you gonna take it and what you're gonna create out of it. So embrace the change instead of see it as a barrier, as a wall for you. So my project is getting on the stages and become another Les Brown, or in the high heels.
I love that. You go. I feel the same way.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, this has been so much fun. So anything else, ladies, do you want to say, just like totally unscripted, not prepared, anything that you want to say right now to people who are watching us either live or on the replay, just to, again, the conversation is about how the feminine energy is changing the world. So anything else you want to say before we close? You can unmute yourself when you're ready to speak.
Within you. What you think, you create, and what you speak, you affirm. You are not defined by anyone or any circumstance. You are the only one who can define you. So by all means, stand firm in your authenticity and own it.
I love what you said. Own it. I want everyone who is listening, us right now or later, own your story. Your story is your power, and your gift probably is in your story. Share it. You have voice. Use it. And I think my request would be, share this video, share this conversation, because you never know who might need it today.
Thank you, Beata. This is great. And this is how we lead and we share from the feminine place. Share it, because you never know who might need it today.
Absolutely.
And that's how we change the world, yes, with this kind of conversations.
Yes, thank you.
And one other thing that I just want to say is about with women, being that this is International Women's Week, is about women really, 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 really supporting one another. It's a pet peeve of mine, and I've been seeing it in a Facebook group where women can tear one another down, and that's just something that we need to stop. We need to not bring our agendas to the table all the time, and we just need to open ourselves up and really know that there's an abundance out there. We're not all fighting for one main, board of director position anymore. We are all in this together, and we're going to lift each other together. And there is enough for all of us. Every single woman on this planet can have enough and can have it all. So that's my other thing, is that you don't have to do it alone and you don't have to do it all by yourself, but you can have it all. You can have it all when you tap into your balancing your feminine and your masculine. And when you allow other women to come in and let them do something this week with someone who you would maybe on paper look like a competitor of yours, and do something for their competitor and do something for that. That's my ask that I'm going to do for this week.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Julia, you know what's amazing about all this? As Roe was speaking, all I could think of was, and this is the Conscious Life Collective.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's what it's all about.
Consciousness.
Yes.
Consciousness. And thank you, Ro, for bringing this up at the end, because it's very important for all of us who are here. And we expressed it at one point or another, that it is about supporting each other. And when we network, we ask a question: how can I support you? Instead of, like, here's what I am, here's what I do, how can you help me? We start from, how can I support you? And that is the leadership that comes from the heart. And it's knowing that when you support somebody else, you will be taken care of. You don't have to worry about that. The universe works. You will be taken care of.
Yeah.
When everyone wins, everyone wins.
Mm-hmm. I call it from moving from I to we.
To we.
Just always be in the we state.
There you go.
And I always say, in giving, we also receive.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I have a necklace circuitry that is as a reminder that you can receive as you share, and share as you receive at the same time. So thank you for saying that. It just reminded me of that. Mikki, anything else?
No, I think, wow, what a way to wrap it up.
It's a great way to wrap it up. Mm-hmm. Especially, and we didn't say that in the beginning, and thank you, Ro, for bringing it up. We are doing it during the International Women's, yesterday was March 8th, International Women's Day. And this is the week to do this conversation, to open it up. And I'm looking forward to continue.
Mm-hmm. And we are in.
We are in. And so thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your strength and courage, for sharing this energy with us. Thank you, every single one of you who is watching us live or on replay. Please, as Beata said, do share, because you never know whose life you're going to touch by sharing this video. And please write us comments. We will reply, I promise. Anything that you might want to ask us, or just send us a smile. We'd love to know that you're here, that you're listening. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank
sending
you.
so much love.
Thank everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was an honor